Keeping it real, keeping it real. Keeping it real, keeping it real. Keeping it real with Reverend Laura. Keeping it real, keeping it real. Keeping it real, keeping it real. Keeping it real with Reverend Laura.
Well, good morning. Welcome to our inaugural episode of Keeping It Real. This is an opportunity we have to take a look at the principles that we talk about on in our Sunday message and actually take them into real, practical, applicable ways in our lives and actually take this stuff out of theory and bring it into practice and look at how we can change our lives when we do that. Each month this year, we are looking at a different life structure, different life quality, and seeing how we can bring that more into our lives, more into our experience to help us create a more fulfilling life, a more easy way of being in this world. So for the month of January, we're looking at the idea of freedom. And for the first week, I talked about intentional freedom, about actually being purposeful about creating a life that leads to more and greater experience of freedom as we move through our time together here on this earth. And so I asked you to create an intention for yourself for 2023, an intention statement. And I spoke about it being a little bit different than a New Year's resolution in that it is not so much goal-oriented about a specific thing, but more of a broader, overarching idea of what it is we're wanting to experience in our lives. And so we're going to take some time this morning and see if we can refine that a little bit to help you get a more practical use for this intention, because it's great to set an intention in January 1st of 2023. It's wonderful to set an intention and to write that down, high and mighty ideas that we have that don't do us any good unless we actually put them into use. So one of the things that I did was I said that intention is about how we feel. And so the feeling is a really important part of all of this. The feeling tone in the intention that you're writing can really make a big difference. And so oftentimes we can find words that actually spark some kind of feeling in us. And they're not necessarily feeling words. They're not words like happy, sad, joyful, things like that. But they're words that are powerful, words that express something in a way that I can actually feel it in my body. So for instance, my intention for 2022 was to step forth in all areas of my life in unapologetic confidence. And so for me, that phrase, unapologetic confidence, sparks some emotion within me. It's like, oh, I can feel that. That's what I want. I want to have that confidence. I want to walk around this world being who I am in the most powerful way I possibly can, and not really keeping myself concerned too much about what others think about it. So this unapologetic confidence sparked a lot of feeling inside of me. And so I was able to actually begin to see that happening in my life then throughout the year. So one of the things that we do in many of our classes is that we ask probing questions to help us get to the root of what it is we want to feel. And so we can apply that concept of probing questions here to our intention statement. My favorite question to ask as I'm doing this drill down process to get to what's really there is I ask a very simple question. It's 2 words. I ask, so that. So for instance, let's take an example here. Maybe your intention for this year is to have a new job or a new career. Maybe that's something that's important for you this year. And so if I was to take and drill this down with that question, so that, it would go something like this. I want a new job so that I can feel like I'm making a difference in the world, so that I actually become passionate about what I'm doing on a daily basis, so that I begin to create this life that I'm wanting to experience. And so you can see those words there: purpose, create. Those are a little bit more powerful words than just "I want a new job." They actually lead to feeling an emotion in us as we're going through that. I'm feeling something happening within me. I'm creating. That's a powerful word, create. I have purpose. That's a powerful word. Those are words that will actually begin to work inside of our bodies. You know, so much of what we do in Science of Mind here is about the thinking, about clarifying our thinking. And thinking is really good, but when we attach it to emotion, when we can actually link the two together, then we actually begin to embody that idea. We begin to actually feel that inside of us. You know, we can take the emotions in and embody them into our body. And then if we can identify where we're feeling it in our body, then we can actually begin to let that grow and expand within us. And so that's another aspect of it. And so taking this intention statement and then working with it to drill it down to what it is we're actually wanting. Because oftentimes we just think it's that thing. We want a new job. Okay. You know, whatever. I'm dissatisfied with what I'm doing right now, so I want a new job. But there's more to it than that. There are emotions that are tied to that we need to bring forth. And when we bring those forth, then those intentions really become powerful in our lives. And so that's one of the things that you can do is you look at your intention statement that you wrote. If you did one already, if you haven't done one yet, then I suggest you just take some time with this and work with it a little bit. There's one other thing that I like to do, and it goes back to that having powerful words. I like to take my intention statement and I like to drill it down to a single word and have that word be what I call my word of power for the year. So for instance, I said earlier that my intention for last year was to step forth in unapologetic confidence in all areas of my life. And when I was sitting with that and working with that and feeling into that, I thought, what is it going to take for me to do this? And the word that came up was courage. And so my word of power for 2022 was courage. And so it was really quite interesting. You know, one thing about having that one word is it's certainly a lot easier to remember than a whole big long intention statement is. And it's something I can keep fresh before me more frequently. And the funny thing is about it, you know, what we put our intention on, we see more often. And so I began to see the word courage everywhere. And I began to find more and more opportunities where I actually had to be courageous. Well, that's the other thing about setting an intention that we don't always think about. Intentions are about growth. And oftentimes, growth is not comfortable. And so as I moved through my year last year, I found lots of problematic situations in which I could apply courage to them. And so it was interesting to watch it show up. This year, my intention is about finding more balance in all areas of my life. I have a tendency to spend a lot of focus on those things that are really easy for me and the things that I want to do, and ignore those things that, again, are a little bit more problematic. And so for me, it's about finding equal balance in my life. And so my word for the year for 2023 is balance. That's my power word. And I'm excited and anxious about seeing how balance shows up in my life. Like I said, what I put my intention on is going to show up one way or another. And generally it shows up for me to move through it in a different way. So I hope you take some time with this idea of creating an intention in your life that is actually going to begin to become alive in you. And if you can get down to that word of power, that's even more fabulous. Write them down. Keep them fresh before you. Intention statements are not affirmations that are repeated every day. That's not what we're doing here. But if we just write it down once and we never think about it again, then it just kind of fades away. It doesn't have any power to it. And so keep it fresh before you. Write it down. I use a journal, like a day planner kind of journal. It's not me journaling like thoughts and feelings in there, but it's my day-to-day activities and so forth. And I will always write my word of power on it, on the page for the day. I write my word of power. But about once a month or sometimes more than once a month, I'll write down my intention statement again too. Just again, to keep it fresh before me. My journal has 3 months in it, so I always put it at the beginning of my journal for the year. And so I have my intention statement right there. But sometimes throughout the next 3 months, I will write that down again so that I have it, I keep it fresh before me. And again, like I said, it's not about repeating an affirmation to make it happen, to bring something about. But it is a necessity to keep it fresh before us so that we know what we're working towards for the year. You know, we are here to do amazing things. Each one of us individually is here on this earth. And I know that this is what's moving through us right here and right now. I know it's moving through our community as we build this new community of Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas. And I know it is moving through you and me personally right now. Have a wonderful week, everyone. We'll see you on Sunday for our next Sunday morning message. And then we'll see you again on Thursday for Keeping It Real. Have a great week, everyone.